We've all seen those studio laugh track sitcoms that came out around the 90s and early 2000s era, centered around the middle-aged family man, usually white, slightly overweight, with an attractive and embarrassingly underwritten wife that's out of his league. Well, this show grabs that trope by the arm and injects it with a thick dose of reality. Instead of following the usual man of the household, this show focuses on the wife as the main lead. What makes this series unique is that half the story is portrayed as a studio sitcom, whereas the other half is portrayed as a drama. Game works like this. A scene will start with an establishing shot of the exterior of the house, then cut to Kevin's wacky antics. Wife comes in, usually a joke or two at her expense, and then she's tossed to the side. Seems like a pretty generic sitcom, but then bam, reality sets in. And I think that's the key theme here, reality. See, this show is about a woman who lives in a pretty destructive marriage, which is brushed off as normal to everyone around her. This is a really interesting and creative way to show the dynamics of a relationship. Every time her husband Kevin is in the room, the show is presented as a sitcom, where he is not only the center of attention, but is portrayed as cute, harmless, and can do no wrong. And when he's not in the room, the reality of the situation is visibly noticeable to the audience. I think the reason for this is because sitcoms are usually good at ignoring reality, whereas dramas attempt to embrace it. It sort of makes me wonder if this is just a sort of creative visual tactic, or if there's a deeper reason for that half of the show to be presented in that way. But I'll talk more about that later. So the general synopsis is that there's this woman named Allison who seems to be having some mental breakdown due to her unhealthy relationship with her husband. After realizing that she'll never get the life that she's always planned, she sets out on a mission to take back her future. That sounds really vague, but I don't want to spoil anything. The show does a great job developing her character and forcing her to confront her own personal demons as well as her relationships, both romantic and platonic. The show takes place in Worcester, Massachusetts, which is a crappy little city about 50 minutes from Boston, and I actually lived there for a while. They did a pretty good job accurately portraying the town. Like, her neighborhood looks pretty accurate. This building right here looks like my first apartment. And the nicest building in town is a Dunkin'. Worcester Books? Get out of here. Get out of here. There's no Worcester Books. Get out of here. Also, diners are not this nice and open like that.
So what I missed the last 15 years?
In Worcester? Oh, there were like 3 new traffic plans for Kelly Square that you missed out on. So, condolences.
I must be crazy coming back here.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they left this joke in here, because if you're not from Worcester, you're not going to get that. Here's a diagram I made of Kelly Square. The lines are roads. And people aren't this polite in Massachusetts. In the show, they present the townspeople as kind of passive-aggressive, but if you've ever lived up north, you know that going into a store goes something like this. What do you want? I want this. Here's your change. Get out. Don't let the door hit you where God split you. All right, enough about Worcester. Let's get into some theories. I only have one. There's this line in episode 2.
So we're having a party, and you're thinking about cleaning up. I always forget mental illness runs in your family.
I don't think that's a joke. I'm wondering if the reason we don't see these 3 outside of the sitcom world thing is because we experience the story through Allison, and maybe she uses the sitcom format as a coping mechanism for reality. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if in reality Kevin is more sinister and maybe even abusive, and this is just how she copes with it, but I don't know. Just a thought. I've been wrong before. Or maybe it is just a creative way to show their relationship dynamic. I actually find myself laughing a little bit at the sitcom parts, which I didn't expect.
I'm auditioning Tom Brady lookalikes for the party.
Tampa Bay's trash, man. People adore you here. Should have stayed.
Well, I had a great run in New England. And
Why does everybody leave?
Neil, buddy, take it easy.
Anyway, without giving anything away, the show is equal parts sitcom, drama, and crime thriller. It's creative, unique, and I highly recommend you check it out. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Worcester's an up-and-coming city.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.